Hey, everybody, another special horrors only episode of Horror Movie Talk. We're going to be checking our voicemail because there's lots of them, and you demand to be heard, and we will listen and
If you call
answer.
us at 682-253-4468, we
I will
will
tell you, the last horrors only episode we had is a killer.
is it?
I think out of all of the things we've recorded over the last year, I think the hypothetical situation that we came up and talked about on that last episode is probably one of my favorite moments of the year. So
Was that on horrors?
it was on, yeah, that was all on the horrors only episode.
No. Really?
Yeah,
I thought that
because
was on a
one
regular
call was
episode.
about the hypothetical of like if you had to
Um,
swap, if your girlfriend and mom swap bodies, and then a couple
yeah.
calls later, I came up with the Freaky Friday hypothetical. So check out the last episode if you didn't hear that. It's around the 14-minute markish.
Every time I see a picture of Casey Neistat, Casey Neistat?
Uh huh.
Every time I see him, I just want to murder like 7 or 8 people. He's, he's so ugly. He's like a Neanderthal trying to fit into modern society.
You
God,
don't have
that
to be
man's
so mean.
ugh,
If
gross.
you're a
He's
Casey Neistat viewer, I welcome you. Like all of you are welcome at Horror Movie Talk.
he wears his hat backwards so you can see how fucking gigantic his head is by seeing how many of these little holes it takes. His is hanging on by like the last one. It's like, and it's just barely hanging in there. He's got a giant head,
Hey,
tiny little
let's not
mouth.
be. I think I'm not even joking. I think that's how I would have to wear that hat if it was on my head.
Look, I mean,
I'm
they say
I'm the
don't.
last two dots on
They
those.
say don't. They say don't punch down. But I'm gonna make a rare exception in this case. Uh, Casey Neistat is below us, and I think he's ugly as sin. You're ugly, Casey. Thank you.
All right, let's get into the listeners. Here's our first caller.
Hey, this is Tired Sandwich. I've been talking to both Bryce and David. I think I just want to say hi and tell you guys that you're great. And this is probably not going to end up on anything. It's more for you two. Also, Bryce, you were wrong about police stations. Just letting you know they do have all that stuff because I've delivered to them and seen them. And David, well, what do you say other than David? Yeah, have a good day, guys. And also, this is from someone who's a male person. Fuck political mail. I hate it. Have a good one.
I think that's probably Mailman Nick.
What?
He's one of our patrons. He just signed up this last couple weeks or so because he's a mailman. So yeah, I think what he was referring to, and I think it was might it be in our malignant episode where they went into like the police car garage and it was like a full mechanic shop in there. And so I guess I've been told that I was wrong, that actually is a thing. So I stand corrected.
Hey, it's Beyond the Grave. I'm calling. I was listening to the Horse 2 episode. Bugsy was talking about how Jamie Lee Curtis, how she dealt with trauma and it felt like a Lifetime movie. I did get very big, like, her writing a memoir, Under the Tuscan Sun, Coastal Grandma. Like, I feel like Jamie Lee Curtis's next move should be, like, woman in her 70s, writing erotic fiction. Next film. Maybe not a Halloween, an Easter film, right after church. Um, but speaking of Coastal Grandma, something I think is missing from horror right now, and I don't think was put out enough back in the day. The Friday the 13th franchise, never been my favorite. I think the only part I really like is that the killer in the first one, well, spoiler everybody, killer in the first one is a middle-aged woman in like a big wool turtleneck just running around camp, which I think I need more like put together old ladies, making like a tea, cool linens by the beach, but then also, a little bit, a little stabby. Anyway, bye.
And he followed it up with another one like in another minute. So let's just hear this one.
It's Beyond the Grave. I have a would you rather. Would you rather have 100 flies hatch inside your butthole and crawl out? Or would you rather have one human-sized fly put its little suction cup up your butt and suck out all the poop? Let me know.
I think we just talked about this on the afterpod that David paid good money to have the latter in the form of the Toto washlet. So I think it's a no-brainer. Just like, yeah, I would pay good money to have a human-sized fly suction shit out of my ass.
Yeah,
sounds delightful. To be honest, I see no downside.
This is easy math here. I mean, who doesn't want to have somebody like get all up in that scrum? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you guys, by the way, if you don't have the afterpod, if you're not a part of our Patreon, we had some very interesting discussions
around hypotheticals.
We
cracked the code of the difference between me and David when it comes to approaching hypotheticals.
It's on the What We Do in the Shadows afterpod, which will be out in a few weeks. So,
yeah,
get ready.
And then the other thing you said about needing more horror movies with kindly old grandmas and woolen sweaters as the killer.
Mm.
Yeah, I think there should be more horror movies where it's the completely unexpected. No one expected Jason's mom to be the killer.
Except for those big hands.
Yeah. So we need like a what would you call him? I don't know. Yeah, we need like a Karen serial killer movie. Someone that's like, man, it writes itself. Karen. Just like have her like have like a new black family move into the neighborhood, and she's like, are you supposed to be here? And I'm like, yeah, as you can see from the U-Haul, bitch, I'm moving. Well, you don't have to use that such language. And you just like show her getting slightly offended or like need to talk to someone's manager and get slighted, and then she'll come back and kill him after that.
Yeah, I mean, it strikes fear into my heart as we talk about it. So I'd say it's a go-to. We have Mike from California who we haven't heard from in a long time. But did you also know that we have Mike from Jersey?
We have a Jersey Mike?
Yeah, Jersey Mike. Yeah.
Here's Jersey Mike.
Horror movie talk. Hey guys, it's Mike from Jersey, aka the Kanji Man. To tell you guys, fantastic show. I'm really bouncing around a little bit. Been listening to you guys for a few months. I just ran across the Bad Seed episode with your moms. Great show, man. Really great episode. I really think your moms are super talented and they could probably do their own podcast. It was really a good one. With that being said, I have a question for both you guys. Using the other one's weapon, that would be David with a spear, Bryce with a bat. Which of the following three zombies you could definitely defeat using the other guy's weapon? Henrietta from the Fruit Cellar from Evil Dead 2. The clown, zombie clown obviously, from Zombieland. Or the Tar Man from Return of the Living Dead. So which one do you think you could actually defeat while using the other guy's weapon? Just curious. Let me know. And keep up the show, guys. It really does help me get through my day. Thanks a lot for everything.
I think with a bat, Henrietta would probably be the hardest one to kill, just because she's wedged between the doorway and the floor. So it'd be pretty hard to like get a good swing that didn't ricochet off of the door or the floor. I think the other two, I can't remember the zombie clown from Zombieland. I'm assuming it's just a regular zombie, and yeah, depending on how much is around him and like how good of a swing I get, you'd be able to defeat him on one-on-one combat. And then with the Tarman, I think that's like a pretty easy get because isn't he just like sitting on the floor and not even really able to move?
No, he's mobile. He once he gets out of the tar canister, he's moving all around.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like that'd be like smashing a peach with a baseball bat. Probably wouldn't be that hard. But then you're kind of in a confined space, so yeah. No, yeah, you'd probably be able to handle both of those latter ones pretty easily.
This is a good question. By the way, we just got Team Bat versus Team Spear stickers available at the old Horror Movie Talk shop. They're cheap and easy. So pick them up, put one on your butt, and call it good. I think the thing about this argument that is compelling is you have to take it in the context of the argument, right? So the question of Bat versus Spear originally was in the event of a zombie apocalypse, if you had a manual weapon, what would you choose and why to deal with the hordes of zombies? So I chose a bat because I think it will deal with multiple targets at once more easily. Slide off. It's easy to use. You don't get stuck in things, and they're ubiquitous. You can find a bat anywhere. But in a one-on-one scenario, which is what Jersey Mike proposed, I think that the spear is the superior weapon. So I get a pretty good weapon in this scenario, and I don't think I'd have too much of a problem with any of them. But if you start adding in targets to the whole thing, then it confuses the whole thing. I'm not above, I'll admit when the bat is not the right weapon for the situation, is what I'm trying to say. But the spear is good 1v1. I mean, it's hard to argue that.
See, I don't want to get into this again. It's just seems like we could just talk about this for hours. But I see a couple points I need to bring up. You always rag on me that like I'm not arguing the hypothetical situation and that I'm bringing in all these outside factors or trying to cheat. Every time you argue this hypothetical situation, you say like, well, yeah, it's easier to find a bat. It's like, well, that's not the hypothetical. The hypothetical is which would you choose? The assumption is you could have either one. So that's number one. That positive is taken out. The second thing is you say it would be better facing multiple people with a bat. The point, like the way that physics work, is if you swing a bat and you hit one skull, you've lost all the momentum. Like you're not even like any glancing blow after the first like hit is going to do absolutely nothing to the other zombies. So in effect, any melee weapon you choose, you're only going to be able to attack one at a time anyways. It's just how fast can you attack multiple zombies with that? How fast can you attack multiple people one at a time? And I think thrusting motions at a distance has got the win over swinging at a relatively close distance.
You can also thrust with a bat. But look, I agree with a lot of what you said there. I think we're talking past each other a little bit. But I think the biggest problem with the spear is you can't find it, and that, to me, in my head, that's part of the equation. But if that's not part, fine. The other thing is, if you're thrusting a spear, it's going to get stuck. It just feels to me like it's going to get. But not only that, the other big one with the spear is you got to be fucking good with the spear. Like it requires a lot of of effort to be of practice to be good at a advanced weapon. And a bat is not an advanced weapon. It's a weapon any dumb idiot can pick up and swing or poke, and it's not going to get stuck. And that's just how I feel. It's just how I feel.
The getting stuck is that's just a matter of what type of spear you're using. Like you could either use one that can go through and back through without getting caught in anything, or you could use one with like a prong to where it stops it from going further.
No, I think
I would encourage people, go get a long dowel, put up a target outside about head height, and you just tell me how hard it is to hit a target with a spear.
Yeah, and then just swing a bat, like you did when you were in T-ball, and just see which one's easier. Just see.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight anymore. Let's go on to the next caller.
Okay, let's go.
Hey guys, it's Elizabeth. Just listening to your Terrifier 2 review, and this voicemail will most likely contain spoilers for Terrifier 1 and 2. So just a heads up there.
Awesome.
I enjoyed Terrifier 2. The problem, I think, obviously the length was an issue. The other thing for me was, I think the first one worked so well is because we haven't really had a villain, kind of like Art the Clown. We haven't had like a mime clown. Obviously we've had clowns with Pennywise and stuff, but I feel like a lot of the things he did in the first one were like very shocking, and that's why that first one worked really well with the small amount of talking that it did have. And the second one for me just didn't really have that shock value. Like obviously what he did in the second one is like, disgusting and like crazy, but I almost came to expect it from him. Now the guy that plays Art the Clown is just absolutely fantastic. Like he really does a good job, but I just think the script was, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like I came to expect the weird, and it wasn't as good for me as the first one was. The first one, especially when he's walking around with the woman's chest and her hair in the first one, like that was so shocking. I was like, what is going on? But I loved it. Like it was so captivating. But just my review for those two movies. But like what you guys are doing, as always. Also gonna give folks another watch, so we'll see how that goes. Probably still hate it, but okay, bye.
Give host another watch. Well, good news. We got another episode coming out that is from that same director. So maybe you can give a comparison between host and Dashcam.
I'm not going to lie to you, Bryce. I don't like that director.
Yeah.
I don't like him. I think what he does in his personal life is not, he hurts people who I like.
Mm-hmm.
And I just listened to our Dashcam review. It's coming forthwith.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no. I can definitely see why Terrifier 2, the stakes had to be so much higher.
Mm-hmm.
They had to go really hard because like Elizabeth was saying, like it was so shocking to see all that shit in the first one, that it lost some of that wow factor, and anything else is just going to be kind of expected. Like you basically got to have like to be more shocked. You got to go to extreme levels. Like I don't even want to say it on here what you got to do,
right,
to get that same level of weirdness second time around. So that's a good point.
Yeah. We've gotten a lot of feedback from our review on Terrifier 2, and I think most of it was directed at me. That it was a bad take to criticize it for, well, number one, saying that it's written for dumb people. I think that was offensive.
Maybe poor choice of words.
That was offensive to a lot of people.
It was offensive to dumb people mostly.
I clarified in the episode, and I'll clarify again. The fact that it's written for dumb people doesn't mean that smart people can't enjoy it. I'm not criticizing people that watch it and enjoy it. I'm just saying the market for which it was written is not for the most intelligent minds. Like it's not taking anything for granted in terms of the audience and their capability. So, I mean, it's like saying, Home Alone was written for dumb people. It's like, it's true. It was written for children. Children are stupid. And that's not to say that Home Alone isn't a fantastic movie and I love, but Terrifier 2 is in particular, like,
of all the dumb reasons to get canceled, this is the weirdest one to have to talk your way out of.
right. That and the fact that I criticized its runtime, which apparently isn't valid. Like talking about, there's more efficient ways to do filmmaking. It's like,
but it do be that way though.
I think with any movie that you like, it just hurts when someone criticizes it. So, I'm sorry to harm you. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. Anyone that likes Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 2 and really thinks that it should have been longer. Like, I apologize.
If you could just cool it with the casual anti-Semitism.
All right. Next up.
It's your boy Bugsy Siegel, your favorite Floridian Horridian. Anyways, I just got done listening to the Terrifier 2 review, and I'll say, congrats on them making $10 million off $250,000. I was thinking of Halloween Ends making $100 million off a pile of shit. Or they made $10 million off $250,000. I'm excited to see what's in store for art. It's a way better film than Halloween Ends. The runtime was extremely long. Imagine seeing that in theater. At least they had food and drinks, you could order to your seat. I had to go to the bathroom a bunch. I smoked before, I had a mild panic attack. But did the long runtime include the post-credit scene with Chris Jericho, or does that make the movie even longer? Also, how old was the sister, the main character? She was living at home, yet was at a grown-up party taking Molly with her 40-year-old girlfriend. She is extremely hot, though, the main chick, the main Mary Sue, so she gets a pass. The main character looked old enough to be the mom of her little brother, who jokes he's the tallest kid in the class. He's supposed to be 12. I bet he was 18. Danielle Harris should have played the mom, would have been 100 times better. The only thing that really took me out was the Mary Sue action at the end. She has superpowers because her sick father used to draw her half naked with serial killer clowns in a notebook. No wonder why the mom tore it up. She was jealous that, the daughter was getting the Teflon diddly, rather than her, the in and out. But, it's your boy Bugsy, and I love you guys. Bryce and David Day calling in from Florida.
Whew. Felt like I ran a marathon there. It's crazy how much people have to say about Terrifier 2. It's just...
Well, that's news to me that there was an after credit scene, because I can't imagine anyone sitting through the credits to get to it. Like
Chris Jericho was in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, oh wow, there she is. It's my ex-girlfriend. Now it's Annie. Yeah, no, fuck this bitch.
She doesn't look old. What are you talking about, Bugsy? I mean, maybe okay, yeah, she's old enough to have a kid, but not the brother that she.
It's not a very high bar, Bryce. All right, or Mississippi.
Ooh.
Check some.
This is the one. This is the one, David. That's like she's looking at you. David, she's looking at you. She's like, hey, I know what you're thinking, and I'm up for it. That's what she's saying.
Bugsy has a lot of obsessive feelings with Danielle Harris. There's something going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Can we stop it? I want our viewers on YouTube to have to be uncomfortable looking at the ugliest people on the planet for a half hour. Can we just leave them with that? We can't take and give them something beautiful to look. It takes the attention off of my ugly face.
And then his saying like she's supposed to be young, but she's doing all these adult activities, like going to a party and doing Molly. It's like, dude, you've been doing Molly at parties for way too long. I'm like, you're supposed to stop that at like 25.
Teenagers
don't do drugs; they're illegal. Okay, Bugsy. Next caller, Dick Mancrease, I think.
Hey, boys, it's Dick Mancrease. Hey, so I'm listening to the Critters Afterpod, and I'm just curious, at what Patreon subscription level do we unlock the secrets to Bryce's mother's chicken noodle soup
Ooh.
that just makes you goo your fucking drawers. Inquiring minds want to know. You guys have a phenomenal week. Bye.
This is so funny because I just sent David a text with this because my entire family this week is sick. And whenever my mom hears that any one of us are sick, she makes a giant vat of chicken noodle soup, which I'm going to have seconds of the second that this podcast is paused. And it's so delicious. And I sent David a text saying, like, my entire family is sick, but my mom made us chicken noodle soup. Are you jealous? And
it was crazy.
You said something borderline blasphemous. You said that someone on your island made chicken noodle soup that was almost
no. You were so blind with rage you weren't even capable of hearing the actual words that I said. No, what actually happened was we know the Mormons out here. They're a small clan. They're only a branch of less than 30 people. Nevertheless, we know them. They're nice. They're very good, salt of the earth people. And it just so happens that they gave my wife a recipe for chicken noodle soup that my wife was like, oh, hey, I'll make this. And then she made it. And I was like, what? This is the exact same recipe that I ate in March when we recorded the Critters review. And I was like, where did you get this? And she's like, oh, this lady gave it to me. It's exactly the same. I mean, it's exactly the same. And I was like, how? And she's like, maybe it's just a Mormon thing. So I don't know. I don't have any explanations. I just know that there's a lot of coincidences that happened all at once.
Did it have the right noodles? Because honestly,
it had the fucking dead on big slappy egg noodles in it.
Yeah, these noodles. That's the key.
Big,
you got these big old thick
ropey
noodles is what you need. That's the one. And then also she finishes it with some cream, so it's like cream of chicken noodle soup.
Maybe we throw the recipe for the chicken noodle soup into one of the Patreon tiers. One of the lower Patreon tiers.
We could record a video of my mom making it. And
that'd be great.
Yeah. I actually have, like, for my work, they do like little things every once in a while. We have a culture club that comes up with like little cool things to do in Zoom meetings, and one of them a couple years ago, my mom did a tutorial on how to make pies, how to make apple pie, and she sent out her recipe for crust, and I have a video recorded of her going through all the steps, and she's adorable in it, and everyone at my work loves her, and they posted every year around Thanksgiving of like, hey, remember that we have this, recording of Bryce's mom teaching you how to make apple pie. And she's really good. I mean, she used to be a home ec teacher, so she knows how to teach cooking and baking. And yeah, if you want my mom's apple pie recipe, you can hit me up. I can get it to you.
Bryce is like, remember, if you fire me, you also have to fire my mother.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to
see the videos on my YouTube channel, so I can just put that to private. Put that shit to private once they fire me.
Yeah. No, I got like 7 mirrors set up already.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, the chicken noodle soup, I don't think it's anything super special other than the noodles that you use and finishing it.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, and then the other thing is it's made with my mother's love, so you'll never have it. I mean, I can give you the recipe, sure, but it's not injected with the love of my mother, which makes it taste 10 times better. Love you, Mom. She's not listening. God, I hope she's not listening to these episodes, given what the last one was.
Oh, okay. Let's reflect on
What's up, Bryce and David? Nick calling out of Michigan. I just wanted to call and tell you guys how much I love the podcast. I spend a lot of time listening to it while I'm out delivering mail, your mighty fine letters and such. I wanted to touch base on the spear versus bat debate. I don't know if this is stupid or not, but I've always had a thought that technically you could just put a spearhead on a bat and it completely defies the whole situation. There is no argument anymore because you now have the best of both worlds. That might be a bad idea and stupid, but anyways, think about that one.
I
And
will.
Halloween Ends sucks. It wasn't good. There wasn't enough Michael Myers. And yeah, I think that's about it. First time caller. Took me a while to figure out if I was going to do this or not, and then I pushed the call button. So we're here now. Thanks, guys, for what you do, and I can't wait for the next one.
Proud of you, Nick. Proud of you,
Thank
Nick.
you.
I wish more callers or more of our listeners would find the courage to press that call button.
Mm-hmm.
You just made a fat spear, though. So
A fat,
sorry.
short spear, which,
Yeah.
I mean, not to disparage fat, short, stabby things, but, you know.
We all got one. We all got Derringers. Now let's just all put them away.
All right. Next caller.
Hey, it's Mike from California. It's been a while.
Hell yeah.
Doug, the Terrifier 2 episode. Glad you guys finally said it. I haven't even seen the movie yet, but I was like, yo, that chick is fucking hot. Thank you for, bringing that to everybody's attention and making me not feel like a creep. Or maybe we just all three are creeps together. That's fine. Halloween Ends was dog shit. Just throwing that out there. Talk to you guys later.
Yeah. So it's coming to my attention over the last couple of weeks. People not a fan of Halloween Ends, Bryce.
Yeah, shocking. You know what? So
Terrifying.
what actually is a little shocking to me is that Red Letter Media liked it. They're like, yeah, this is great. They're like pleasantly surprised with it. And I think the reason that they gave is that they did anything else other than just make a Halloween movie. They tried something different.
That was how I felt about 20 minutes into it. I was like, oh, okay. And then it just turned into that. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, but then they didn't execute on it. They didn't like commit to it. Like they're like,
yeah,
hey, we're going to do something different, but never mind. Here's Michael Myers. And here's the thing that you were expecting anyway. So, yeah.
Bryce, do you notice that we have a lot of callers named Mike?
Uh-huh. Mike from Pittsburgh.
Well, next call. Let's get to the next call here.
What's up, douche nozzles? It's Mike from Pittsburgh. I was giving you a call because I had a friend who took a medication and his dick stayed hard for like 4 hours. And he had to go to the hospital so that they could drain the blood out of his dick. And he said when they drained it out, it was almost black. So I don't know about it falling off, but that was fucking pretty nasty. Also, one of your greatest fans. I knew your grandparents. I watched you from afar as you grew up. Just keeping you safe from all those fucked up fans out there. All right, boys. Talk to you soon.
What?
Mike? Mike from Pittsburgh, are you a patron? Because if not, you're not protecting me. Not protecting me from those hard, cold streets.
Yeah, this is several episodes ago when we were talking about priapism, where if your dick stays hard for too long, it can fall off, which is true, by the way. I double checked it on Wikipedia. Like, if you have an erection for too long, it is very, very bad for your penis. And David told me that you just have a freakish penis that never is not hard. So that maybe this point it's just petrified. It's no longer an actual dick anymore. It's just become the petrified dick always.
I mean, we've all got superpowers, you know.
Uh-huh.
Some of them are like, you know, an interior calm. Some people have the ability to, like, you know, commune with nature deeply, you know, talk to horses and whisper at dogs and shit. And mine is just kind of one of these. It's an outward sounding
Right.
superpower, you know. It's like, oh well, the Hulk, he gets big. Well, David gets hard. It's just what he does. It's not an impressive hard on. It's consistent.
Mm.
We go for consistency and not turning black. That's, I guess, another. It's weird because a lot of people would say that if it turned black, that'd be better.
Moving on.
Hey boys, this is Chester Freak, Dick Mancrease. So I'm doing a thing you guys helped us out with, man. You guys finally made watching Human Centipede 2 bearable by adding your own commentary. I haven't watched this since it came out on demand. So I'm watching it again. I'm watching with your commentary. I'm taking a break while I'm having a new Four Loko to, you know, kind of digest this movie. And thank you for your contribution for doing this for us. I really appreciate it. Also, I remember you guys had made mention of Terrifier 2. You guys like, there's not even a titty in this movie. And we're about to be judged a whole lot on this one for, you know, all the wrong reasons. But, yo, listen, you're going to be judged for a titty. Just go to Friday the 13th, A New Beginning from 1985, and check out Debbie Sue Voorhees. Dude. Fucking milk trucks here, boys. Yeah, so go ahead and get a look at that bad boy and those milkers. Anyway, thanks for everything you do. Love you both. Bye.
Doing the Lord's work, Dick Mancrease.
Look at those ham slappers. Yeah, dude. Dick Mancrease. He's a guy I'd like to hang out with. Although probably not when he's drinking Four Locos. You know what a Four Loco is?
Isn't it like super caffeinated, super alcoholic? Or it was originally and they had to like tamp it down because children were dying?
Yeah, it's like, you remember how you hear the story of Coca-Cola and they're like, yeah, there was really cocaine in it. And it's the story of Four Loko is the same, but with meth. It's just like, no, they just put meth in alcohol and then they just gave it to you, you know, and they expected you to handle that shit like an adult. And it's like, no, there's a bunch of people who families ruined because of Four Loko. And that's, yeah, then they kind of redid the whole thing. The guy got out on parole and came back with Four Loko, you know, like again, without the meth this time, but instead just like, it's just like trucker pills in there or something.
Yeah. Well, he mentioned the Human Centipede 2 commentary track, and I'll say, like, didn't we say we'll do those every 25 patrons?
We didn't make a promise.
We didn't make a pledge yet.
Not
I'll
yet.
make a pledge right now that
200.
If we get to 200 patrons,
yeah, there you
we'll
go.
do another commentary track. So expect one of those around December 2025. And,
no, that goes pretty quick. Things have been patrons have been joining faster and faster. So I expect us to hit 200 in March. That's my prediction.
Yeah, it's pretty steady ramp up, to be honest.
It is.
It's not bad.
You look at those numbers; they don't lie. Much like these hips.
Alrighty, here's Robert the Farter.
Hey, Bryson. It's Robert the Farter. So just calling because...
That sounded like he just reloaded a gun instead of farted.
Is Robert the Farter?
So basically what happened is my sister invites her friends over a lot of the time to watch movies with her. And They're those movie snobs, you know, the ones that are like, oh, Steven Spielberg, oh, he's a bad director, and whatever. And those guys annoy me to no end. One of my favorite movies ever is E.T. I can't really watch it though anymore because I'll cry basically every time I do. Anyways, I thought just to give you guys a little bit of, just kind of a little bit of an idea what taste I have in movies, just by letting you know. So I've got this wall in my room that's got posters on it. It's my poster wall, and I was just going to let you guys know what posters I got on there. So I've got my
Pause it.
Ernest Scared Stupid poster.
He's got a wall with posters on it, and it's called his poster wall. Continue.
Hold the phone. The poster wall?
I'm sorry,
Wait,
Robert.
Before we move on, we have to predict what movie posters he has on the wall. So you already mentioned Ernest Scared Stupid. That's a no-brainer.
I can't believe he found a poster for that.
Let's say I'm going to say E.T. because he just mentioned it.
Yeah.
Don't look at the transcript because I think he said something.
Jaws? Gotta have Jaws, right?
He's going to have like something out of the blue. It's going to be like
Gummo.
What's it called? What's that kids movie with like the Three Ninjas? Yeah, Three Ninjas, Part 3 poster. It's going to have hackers.
Okay,
honestly,
okay.
I had hackers.
Play it. I'm dying.
Okay.
I've got a vintage Star Wars poster. I have a Nightmare on Elm Street poster. I've got a vintage Labyrinth poster, which, by the way, David, I agree with you. Labyrinth is amazing. And anyways, it's Robert the Farter. Love you guys. Bye.
Yeah, anyone that's so pretentious that they say Steven Spielberg isn't a good director, get your head straight out of your ass. Like, even the most pretentious movie directors will concede that Steven Spielberg is one of the best directors of all time.
What about AI?
I mean, if that's what you point to as his worst movie, like, you could do worse, you know?
Oh yeah, you could do way worse.
And that one was like situational because that was supposed to be directed by Stanley Kubrick anyways.
Oh shit. Really?
And he took it over, I believe. It was either that or they're going to co-direct it, but I'm pretty sure it was a Stanley Kubrick movie, and then Steven Spielberg stepped in and finished it.
Yeah, I mean, his range, his the goodness of his shit, like it's undeniable. Robert, I also have a Labyrinth poster. It is among my most prized possessions. And I love it. I mean, if you were to look at another director who is widely held to be, just generally good, for example, we'll say Martin Scorsese. All right, who's going to argue with you about that? Do you think Martin Scorsese has nearly as much range as Steven Spielberg? It's not even fucking close. He's
got range, but it's nowhere near as consistently successful as Spielberg's.
This is what I'm saying. It's like kind of the same. Like Hugo was garbage. I don't know what we're talking about. How did that fucking movie win all these fucking? It made me so mad. I'll give him. Sometimes he'll swing out of the park, like The Wolf of Wall Street. So much fun, like, oh man. But I'm just saying Spielberg, wide range. Anyway.
Yeah. Next color's also Fart. Sorry.
Hey, Robert the Farter, real quick. Just listening to Nope review and heard Bryce saying that Jordan Peele is the new, better M. Night Shyamalan, which I do not agree with. I agree with David that he just keeps cranking out those good movies, I still can't believe you guys haven't reviewed The Visit, because that is a very fun movie. But yeah, see ya.
He's got another one coming. He's got into the fart. He's got another one. Play the next one too.
Hey,
He forgot.
sorry, just forgot one thing. It's Robert the Farter. Just for you, Bryce. So, just from listening to about your dog Meg, I just thought it was kind of a fun fact that I have actually a cat named Meg. So I thought that was kind of funny. Anyways, it's Robert the Farter.
It's Robert Departure.
Yeah. Well, technically, Meg's full name is 90s Meg Ryan. That's her legal name.
He's trying to build a bridge with you, and you just
I'm
shot
just
him
saying,
down.
Robert, if your cat is named 90s Meg Ryan, like that is an extreme coincidence. Not gonna lie. Meg's a pretty good name.
Yeah, I agree with you about The Visit. That is Have you seen that one yet, Bryce? I keep forgetting.
No, but I already know like what the twist is, so it's like,
damn it,
I don't know how much I care about it.
I don't know how you managed to disappoint me in this manner so consistently, but Jesus fuck, it makes me so upset.
Okay, this one is long and it has no transcript, so we'll see what it is. We're gonna get our copyright strike now.
This is from Beyond the Grave. White Lotus sent it in. I love that song and I like that show, but I didn't feel it in Smile. You know, I just listened to your review about it, and I really am surprised that my view of this movie didn't really align with Bryce. But I did not enjoy this movie. I thought it was, too similar to The Ring with this whole, timeline of, I'm going to die in this. But I was just losing interest the whole time. I couldn't remember who was who. I wasn't impressed with a lot of the acting. These jump scares, I don't know. They just didn't do it for me. When I was listening to the podcast today, the ads jump scared me more than this movie because there was just out of nowhere. I feel like at the end when she went back to that house, well, which first of all, the sister was like, "You gonna sell the house?" I don't know why they're acting like that house and property has any value. I don't know where they live, but it looked like a dump and didn't look like there was any development around it, so it can't be worth that much money. But I feel like I saw her seeing the mom, and I was like, oh yeah, trauma. It just, Bryce's explanation made it more obvious, but I wasn't like, oh, this is a movie that really explains this trauma. But also, this curse, was it either, it went from being like, oh, it's a family curse, but then also like, oh, it's a more generic entity of a curse. Why did it need to have to be connected to her mom? And then they go this whole route of, 20 other people have had this. Just the stars didn't align for me in this movie.
I feel you.
But my favorite part was definitely that little kid's birthday because it gave me very Sixth Sense vibes, and Scary Movie 3 when they have the wake for Brenda. He opens up that cat box. Anyway, Smile. You know, this whole like big smile, spooky thing. It's never been creepy for me. You know, I feel like people just look dumb if it's not done effectively. Like, you know, in Hereditary, there's that guy who's like the naked guy in the doorway, and then he's also at the funeral who's just smiling.
And then it cuts him off. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like looking back on it, like this is one of those situations where I stand by everything I said. I love Smile. Like it's one of those realizations as a reviewer of like, oh yeah, you're just gonna really like some things sometimes.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
if you watch it on a different day, if you watch it in a different mood, different hour of the day, like it probably would have hit you different. But man, Smile got me right on the kisser.
This is him continuing his thought.
Maybe it was set in a different day, so I'm not sure. We'll see.
Beyond the Grave back, but I'm looking at a picture of that naked smiling man from Hereditary. I'm a looking and I'm a liking, because if someone's smiling at me like that, hey, baby. I watched Dash Cam last night. Woo! Woo! If you had told me, sit down and watch this COVID adjacent movie with all these Trumpers and shit, I would have said, why would I be interested in that? I don't need to see my real life on the screen. I don't need to see that, but what a time. So refreshing. Yeah. Just nuts. Irksome. AF. It was good. It was really good. Anyway, I'm going to poke around. I'm off all next week. Let's see what I get into.
Yeah, so the Dashcam one's coming out this week, or just came out last week, depending on when I release this episode.
Yeah.
But Dashcam is delightful, in large part to Annie Hardy being delightful. I was just reminded that someone pointed out in our Facebook that they think that Beyond the Grave might be what's his name?
Yeah, Ron Funches.
Ron Funches.
That was Dustin.
Yeah,
Dustin Goebel, the man, the myth, the legend, thinks that Beyond the Grave is Ron Funches. I know that's not accurate. That's stereotyping.
Beyond the Grave, if you are Ron Funches, Ron, please you are invited to be a guest on the podcast.
And if you're some guy who goes from Beyond the Grave, I love you. Mm-hmm. And you we could work something out. You know what I'm
saying? All right. Last caller, all the way from Finland, Anasaurus.
The land of Finns.
Hey guys, it's Anasaurus from Finland calling again. I've been calling a lot within the past month. Anyway, I have a question that I just now realized. We just came back from the movies. Oh, my dog is pooping again.
Always with the dog.
Which is great. We watched the Pray for the Devils. It was quite good. And I'm not sure if I thought that we watched it at home, if I was as impressed as I am now. So, do you think it affects your score if you watch something at home or if you watch it at the movies? If it makes a big difference or whether it makes a smaller difference. Like, I think it might make quite a significant difference, if it's at the movie theater, because for one, the jump scares are way bigger, and of course the music, the soundtrack, and all kinds of sound design is different, more effective. Everything is more impressive. So I don't know if it's an exorcism thing, obviously, that one. Not sure how well it's this year, obviously. But not sure if I would have even watched it back at home. So I haven't been to the movies in a couple of years. Well, more, actually. But yeah, it was good. I do recommend it. Pray for the Devil. Yeah, great. So, have a good one. Hugs and kisses and all that. See you later. Oh, P.S. I'm still with the same guy. He's great. Great. Bye.
Congrats on the great guy. Yep. Pray for the Devil, PG-13. I've heard some praise. As for the main thrust of the question, does it? Do you think the theater makes a big difference? I don't think it makes a huge difference. It it's an amplifier, you know. It's a enjoyment / misery amplifier for me. You know, if I like something, I like it a little more in the theater, and if I hate something, I hate it a little more in the theater. You know, I think being forced to be in a place where you're sitting through the thing that you love makes it better, and sitting through the thing that you hate makes it worse. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, so it's interesting thinking of like the different factors that contribute to enjoyment, yeah, watching it in a theater, I think it's probably a net gain for me, like of all the factors that I could think of. Like, I think in general it's going to be better in a theater, and one of the biggest reasons is that even if you see it and you're only in the theater with like two other people, it just adds to the enjoyment to watching it with other people that are there to see the same movie. And I'm one of those guys that isn't super affected by people talking or not being super conscientious in the theater. Like, I can usually look the other way or just be like, well, it's part of the experience. Like having teenagers that are talking through the opening of a movie. So there's that, but like I think a bigger contributor is like, what's your mood that day? How tired are you? Like, and I think watching at home probably accentuates the bad things. Like if you're tired and you're watching a movie and you're at home, it's going to be so much harder to stay awake, you know, in a comfy couch or in bed.
And just being able to pause it at home, you know,
right.
Like that we watched Videodrome, and I started it one day and finished it another day, and that's got to take something away from the experience, right?
Yeah, because you're less engaged.
Yeah,
and you're less like the stakes are lower. So, yeah, I think there's probably a net gain with watching it in the movie theater. And the other thing is like, if you don't have a good sound system, like that's half the reason to go see it at a theater, really.
Truth.
And
Bryce,
that's
I
it,
think
folks. That's all your calls. Thank you so much for calling. If you want to call and leave a voicemail for a future episode or future bit, call 682-253-4468.
Yeah.
Love you. Bye.
You have a good week. We love it. Bye.
Always the wrong one.
Always. Hell yeah.
Good day, sir.
Yeah. What?
I just had to stroll through the scraggly woods. He had no face. Horror.
Wow, that didn't sound good.